Welcome back to the Weekly Comet. I am Tamara. I am holding down the fort while my co-host, Jonathan Mchugh, parties at South by Southwest. However, he will be Skyping in to tell us what's happening on 6th Street, so stay tuned for that. We have music supervisor Julia Michels here. She's worked on such films as the entire Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise, Alvin and the Chipmunks, one of my favorites, and she's also going to talk a little bit about her upcoming film, Pitch Perfect. And we have one of my favorite artists on the show today, pop reggae singer-songwriter Elan Atias. He's also known as the Young Lion. Elan respectfully filled the shoes of Bob Marley as the frontman of the Wailers when he was only 19. He toured with the legendary reggae band for over a decade. He's released his second solo studio album called We Are. He's truly one of the great artists, and your voice will literally make you cry. Elan, it's over to you. He's going to play Step Into the Sunshine.
Hey, there's a place that you find in your heart where you keep all your dreams and the music starts. We forget all the reasons we're here. Make the clouds open up, make them disappear. The world goes all around you, so the story goes. No more wasting time, step out in the sunshine. Here's a little bit of laughter in the dark. Here's a little bit of love to light the spark. Don't you know you gotta take the time, step out in the sunshine. Gotta have a little faith in all your dreams. Take mine and come along with me. Don't you know you gotta take the time? If you don't try, the sun's not gonna shine. Seems there's not enough time in the day to do the things that you want and say what you want to say. Come along, take a chance, let it go. Just get lost in a song and let's lose control. The world goes all around you, so the story goes. No more wasting time, step out in the sunshine. Here's a little bit of laughter in the dark. Here's a little bit of love to light the spark. Don't you know you gotta take the time, step out in the sunshine. Gotta have a little faith in all your dreams. Take mine and come along with me. Don't you know you gotta take the time? If you don't try, the sun's not gonna shine. 'Cause life goes on, and you're not alone. And I know you're gonna find your way back home. And I know you're gonna find your way back home. Here's a little bit of laughter in the dark. Here's a little bit of love to light the spark. Don't you know you gotta take the time, step out in the sunshine. Gotta have a little faith in all your dreams. Take mine and come along with me. Don't you know you gotta take the time? If you don't try, the sun's not gonna shine. If you don't try, the sun's not gonna shine. If you don't try, the sun's not gonna shine.
Woo! Wow, thank you so much. Elan is gonna sit down with me later in the show and tell me about his new album, and he's gonna play not one, but 2 more songs for us, so very much looking forward to that. And now it's time for the Comet News. Well, one of Jonathan Mchugh's favorite bands, Fun, holds the #1 spot atop the Ultimate chart with We Are Young. And Far East Movement's Live My Life featuring The Beeb has debuted at number 5, and Carrie Underwood's new country single, Good Girl, bowed in at number 9. It looks like that's moving up the chart super, super fast. Of course, the coolest thing that happened this week was the Guns N' Roses LA Club takeover. They played the Hollywood Palladium, their first time being there in 22 years, the Wiltern, and the House of Blues. The shows were sold out in minutes. I was lucky enough to get tickets to the House of Blues show. Now, I've been blessed enough to have worked with Axl over the years, and I can honestly tell you that he's not looked or sounded this good since 1993. I mean, it literally was one of the best shows I've seen. DJ Ashba, who's also in Nikki Sixx's band 6am, literally slayed on lead solo. Skid Row's Sebastian Bach made a surprise appearance to sing with Axl. The show had a ton of celebs there, including, yes, Ron Jeremy, Vincent Gallo, Lisa Marie Presley. It was truly an epic night, so congratulations to Guns N' Roses for really showing that you can still rock as hard as you did in the 80s. And now it's time for On the Road. We have Jonathan Skyping in from South by Southwest. He's our official man on the street, and also Jason Kramer is here to talk with me about some bands to watch that are coming out of Austin this year. Mr. Mchugh, are you there?
I am. Good afternoon, Miss Tamara.
I'm so jealous that you're in Austin.
Yeah, this place is awesome.
So?
Barbecue, music, good weather. A little humid, though, for us West Coasters, but this town is out of control. I mean, I've been coming to this thing off and on for years, and I've never seen it quite like this. You know, they start with a film festival, then they go into the interactive festival, which this year is the biggest it's ever been, even bigger than the film festival. And brands have also taken over. The one thing I could point to was if you think about a vending machine where the things get pushed out and they drop down into the slot and you pull them up, there's a whole building, that undone building, where Doritos has put up 15-foot bags, much like a vending 15-foot bags, much like a vending machine on one floor. And as you look up, there's the code, and it looks like the bags will drop onto the ground, and there's a stage underneath where people will play. So the corporate takeover of South by Southwest is fully.
That's a big takeover.
Yeah, it's much like it's much like how the film fest Sundance has become. Yeah, but not used to seeing it like that. But the good news is the music is just everywhere.
So what have you seen?
Well, I was just literally walking down the street on the way to come back here to do the show. I heard a song coming out, and I was like, "What is that song? That's a good song." And then I realized it wasn't just a song playing out the window. The actual Icelandic band Monsters and Men was playing their smash hit, Little Talks. And their new album comes out April 3rd on Universal Republic, and it's fantastic. And I know you guys featured it when I was out a couple weeks ago. But I just saw them. I came back, and on the way, Red Light had a party at Stubbs with great barbecue and great bands like Lucero, Alabama Shakes. Last night was an amazing showcase with that featured Dr. John debuting his new album, which is produced by Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. So Dr. John did his songs, and then before that, Ed Sheeran, who's an incredible British singer-songwriter, and also Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Kimbra, who's featured on one of our favorite new records, the Gauthier record. And she performed. And then closing the show was Gary Clark Jr., who was an interesting story. He was he's an Austin blues guitarist, African American, who grew up here, playing on the streets, busking, and through Sheryl Crow's manager, who now is his manager, who also curates the Eric Clapton Crossroads Guitar Festival, where, Scooter told me he had pitched amazing bands before, some of the top bands that have blown up, and Eric said, no. And then all of a sudden he brought him Gary Clark Jr., he's like, yeah, that's the guy. And so from 2 songs that he performed that went on YouTube at this huge festival in Dallas, he got a record deal, a publishing deal, and William Morris is a booking agent. And now Gary Clark, look out for him, Gary Clark Jr., I should say, look out to be an unstoppable force.
Wow.
So, it's quite the thing, and tonight, there are the Shins, and there's J. Cole just performed. Big Sean
And Kanye, right? Isn't Kanye always at South by?
Kanye was there last night. He got up with Big Sean, and the rumor is 1 a.m. again. He'll be up there tonight. So you just never know what you see and what goes on. And obviously Springsteen is here also, and he did the keynote today, and he'll be performing. So it's everything from the smallest little band to the largest of them all. Everybody is here except for my girl Tamara and the Southwest hater.
And this is like one of the first years I haven't been. So you were there for me in spirit, and I expect you to report back and blog for the Comet and let me know what's going on.
Absolutely.
And we really thank you for Skyping in. Like, it's not the same without you.
Oh man, I love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
See you, John.
So, Mr. Kramer, the man who does not go to South by but knows all the cool bands that are there, who are you rooting for?
I am rooting for, once again, of Monsters and Men.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're doing football pool or something like this. Alabama Shakes, I know, they just played their amazing band also. Ben Howard, who's from England, is there. We had the band Races that we showed the video. They were playing over there. White Arrow from Echo Park is also there. The band The Men, that is they're from Brooklyn, unsigned band, and I hear great things about these guys.
Wow.
So a lot of people are into them. Not Men, but The Men.
The Men.
Yeah,
not
to get confused.
There's a lot of men. Monsters and Men, The Men.
The Men.
Yeah, it's a big one.
So
it's interesting, too, that the Shins are now starting to blow up.
The Shins?
The Shins, yeah.
I thought they always were.
No, but it's been like, I mean, I remember the first time I heard them was what, like 10, 15 years ago?
Well, I mean, doesn't that count as blowing up at that point, or?
Well, no, I mean, now they're blowing up. Now everyone's talking about them.
No, bands like that. But I'm a little confused about South by, because I thought it was supposed to be more emerging artists, and it's become more of this giant conglomerate of Kanye and what have you. So
yeah, I mean, I remember when I first went many moons ago, it literally was just emerging artists. There were no artists signed to major labels were there, nothing. It was literally just to see the next big thing, and artists would go there to get signed. And now it's become, Duran played last year, and Kanye plays every year, and Jay-Z played the American Express event, 2 nights ago. Fiona Apple played last night. So it's become a way for the majors to reposition their artists as cool.
Yeah. Well,
so it's changed a lot.
I mean, but then you have Coachella, where you have bands like Madness, who's going to be here.
Right.
Which I'm thrilled to death. I mean,
are you going to Coachella?
Oh, no, but I am going to go see Madness.
Right, because I was going to say Coachella qualifies as like a festival, so that would not be.
Hot air, little 1 bottle of water. No.
Yeah, like 120 degrees.
Yeah, this doesn't count as $20. All right? No, absolutely not. But no, all the different bands are, the reviving of all these old bands, like I said, of Madness and who are going to be.
How long has it been since Madness has played?
Well, I can't tell you that.
It's got to be decades, right?
Well, I first saw them in 1983, and then in 1985 here at UCLA. It was the first time. That was in '83. It must be decades at this point. They have a new album out. But before that, I can't really think of anything that anybody's done that. I mean, it's the same lineup. When the Specials played here last year, or 2 years ago, I guess it was, and the only person they missed was Jerry Dammers, who pretty much wrote the Special songs. But
they just missed him.
Yeah, so the whole band was virtually here. But it's nice to see these bands come back after all these years, and especially the ones I love. So.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well,
your bands, I don't know.
Oh, you have Guns N' Roses. Come on.
Well, that's all right, because they came. They went to Fairfax High and all that stuff. They're local yokels like me.
It's it's nice to have the locals back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to Q, and thank you, Jason. And now we have a dear friend of mine and music supervisor, Julia Michels. She's going to come on and talk about some of her new projects. But first, we're going to show just a little clip of Wimpy Kid, which she's worked on.
Chocolate! Oh, Greg, I'm not going in with a stain on my pants.
Fine.
Oh my God, I love it. Please welcome Julia Michels to the Weekly Comet. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
We just
Thank
saw a
you for
clip. That
having
was
me.
the second Wimpy Kid.
Correct.
And I know that you are just finished working on...
Just this morning.
Oh my God, on the
this
third
morning.
one.
Final playback this morning. It's the third installment of the movies. The title is Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days. So since it's about summer, it's going to come out in August. Normally they come out in March, April. So we have to wait till the summer, but the third one is in the can.
Wow, please tell me, Florence the Machine, Dog Days?
Yeah, no.
No?
Not the right audience for this movie,
was just
but
gonna say.
very good idea. Very good idea.
So this is the third movie that you've done on the Wimpy Kid.
Yes.
Like, how do you keep the music fresh, and sort of what are the demands on the music for you?
You know, these movies are so brilliant and so fun to work on, and it's like a nice running machine. The team is really great, the director's amazing, our editor, our music editor, we're all really close, and we've done it so many times that it's like a smoothly running machine. The way I do the Wimpy Kid movies, because our budgets are very small,
Right.
is I go out to all these independent labels and independent pitchers, and I say, pitch me all. Like for this movie, it was all about summer. So I need your summer songs, the songs that evoke summer, songs that say summer. And then they pitched me all, and I just had this big kind of, you know, pile of great songs.
Like how many? How many?
Oh gosh, 100.
at least,
100,
right?
yeah, 100. And then I would slot them in. But you know, it's trial and error. It's not that easy, but you know, I slot them in. So I kind of did my homework on these movies before, so I know that I'm pitching songs we can afford. And then
Right.
there's the big, you know, there's the big montage where we'll pull like a big urban hit, you know, radio hit song. But that's kind of a formulaic way we do these movies because we don't have a lot of money.
Right.
But they do so well, and it's really fun, and I'm
Well,
so
it
happy.
has like
to
an
do them.
indie feel to it anyway,
Yeah.
sort of, you know.
It's a great way to use bands that maybe nobody knows or songs to give them give a song a chance by a young band. It's
Right.
it's one of my favorite things to do.
Now, Alvin and the Chipmunks is sort of the opposite,
Opposite.
which you've also worked on.
Yes.
And I mean, the Single Ladies montage with Alvin and the Chipmunks.
That was 2. I didn't do 2.
Still
I did
amazing.
3. Amazing. In fact, I used Single Ladies in Sex and the City too. So
right.
that was the year where Single Ladies was getting used everywhere, but we didn't care because it's such a great song.
Right.
Liza Minnelli sang it on camera.
Oh
in
my
Sex
God,
and the
that's
City
right.
too. Yeah.
Which was literally made the movie for me.
Yeah, and being on set with Liza Minnelli
Who
while
is
she was singing.
one of a kind.
Yeah. She actually sang a song for us after she did her.
What
Yeah.
did she sing?
Something of her own. She said, I want to sing a song for you, and we shut down for 5 minutes, which is unheard of, and she took her microphone and her piano player and sang us a song. It was amazing.
Oh,
While the white
wow.
swans are running around there on the set. It was really fun.
That's like being in a Fellini movie.
Yeah,
Like, what's
exactly.
happening?
But Chipmunks is the opposite of Wimpy because I get to use every hot, fun, expensive song on the
Right.
radio, and that's like rare for a supervisor because normally our budgets are shrinking, and this time it was kind of like the world's your oyster, and we only paid for the publishing side because we monk up
Because
the songs.
the monks, you
yes,
know.
we monk them up.
Yes.
So
Their
super
cute
fun
little
to do
squeaky
those movies
voices.
too. You know, loved it.
So what are some of the songs that were used in the one that you did?
In the Chipmunks. Okay, let me remember back.
I know.
We used Party Rock Anthem, of course. We monked it up for the end titles, and we used a little bit of it in the middle. We used Real Wild Child in a montage.
So
we opened with
fun.
Vacation.
So
Vacation
fun.
because they were going on vacation. Obviously, they had to go on vacation to get Chipwrecked. So they had to get on the ship to get Chipwrecked.
I want to be a chipmunk.
So it was great. We used Hello. We used, what else did we use?
How much fun is it to have that kind of budget to work with?
So fun. So fun. And, you know, it's not like it's, you know, we can pull all the money, you still have to negotiate, but to have that kind of, that budget to call our friends at publishers and say, I know I only paid you $5,000, but guess what? I got 100 on this.
Yeah.
Then it's kind of a nice give and take.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know you're working on Pitch Perfect.
yes.
Which I know you and I have talked about it. Please tell us. I mean, it sounds just incredible.
It's great. There's so many great things about it. First of all, it's the director, his name is Jason Moore, and he directed Avenue Q on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
So he is musical, intelligent, he gets the comedy. He's been lovely to work with. I'm co-supervising the movie with, actually executive music producing the movie with Julianne Jordan.
That's right.
We're doing it together because it's very intense. And we've been working with Jason since June of last year because we had 40 on cameras, acapella on
So
cameras.
what's the premise of the film? It's behind.
It's basically, it's kind of, there's, for lack of a better expression, it's Bring It On set in the acapella, collegiate acapella singing world. So it's a comedy set in collegiate acapella, and collegiate acapella is already kind of comedic itself, because it doesn't take itself very seriously, and then it's a comedy, and it stars Anna Kendrick as sort of like the cool DJ girl who doesn't really want to join the acapella group, but she does, and kind of turns them around. You know, before she gets there, they're very stiff, and their motions,
she makes them cool
and they sing the sign and all these things, and then she kind of introduces mashups and kind of cool things. So it's just been a great experience. The movie is delicious, and Elizabeth Banks is producing, so of course a whole nother level of comedy, and she's in it. She's making some cameos. So we're in post now, and we've got a long way to go. But yeah, it's very intense. But it's, for a music supervisor, those are the kind of movies.
Dream projects.
They're dream projects. Yeah.
What is a day like for you? I mean, I know like today you were at the Fox lot, you're running all over town, like trying to get here, and I mean, what is an average day in your world?
It sounds cliche, but it's all different. You know, today I was at final playback for Wimpy Kid 3, or Dog Days, and then I'm here. Obviously, this is very special with you. Some days I don't leave my office ever. Some days I work till 2 in the morning listening to music. It's hard because people think we listen to music all day, but you know, we're dealing with politics and budgets and problems and fires. So my time to listen to music is usually like 9 to 12 at night when it's quiet and I can feel and all of that. You know, sometimes I'm on a dub stage, sometimes on a mix stage. Sometimes I'm doing score review meetings with composers.
Right.
And sometimes I'm in my office just hammering it out. So the fun thing about this, besides it being a fun job, it's always different.
Right.
You know, always different.
And you get to give bands a chance too.
Oh, that's
like,
my
you really
favorite.
get to discover. You really get to discover music.
And I've worked at a couple record labels, so I actually call people that I know that were in bands at labels that maybe no longer have deals, and they write for me all the time.
Which is great.
You know, and we've had a lot of success with that, and it's just fun to champion young bands, singer-songwriters, as well as, you know, use the songs we all know and love by hearing them
How do
on
you
iTunes.
keep the joy? I know for me, occasionally, when I was working at Billboard, I would just get overwhelmed with the amount of music that I have to listen to.
It's overwhelming.
And at some point, you get into this headspace of, I have to sit and listen to it, and and to keep the joy and saying, I get to sit and listen to this.
Right, right.
When you are literally on deadline, overwhelmed, like how do you
interesting.
balance that out? Because I know I've gone through that.
It's a good question, because obviously we're in this business because we're fans.
Because we love music.
We love music.
Yeah.
We're fans. And those were the days where we listened to every song all the way through, laying on the floor with your speakers, looking at the producing
Trying
press.
to crawl into
yeah,
the
just you wanted
speakers,
to
reading the liner notes.
consuming it all.
Yeah.
And I can't work like that because I wouldn't make my deadline. So it's interesting. I have people that work for me that help me weed things out, to be honest. You know,
Right.
I have a great coordinator. I have interns. They are really, like all those bands you talked about, I know all those bands at South by Southwest because they told me about them, you know, months and months
Which
ago.
is great, yeah.
But how do you keep the joy? It sounds crazy, but when you find that perfect song for that scene and you know you've hit it on the nail, it's like a great feeling.
It's
and
magic,
you're really
isn't it?
proud. It's like, wow,
And you get the
this
little
really
goosebumps.
works. Absolutely.
You know, when you see that come
Yep.
together.
Yep. And then you see the finished product and you realize it's always a team effort. There's a lot of people involved in putting music to picture, and you know, I'm sort of the conduit, but it's like something to be proud of, you know.
And you make that magic, and then you get to sit in the movie theater
Yeah.
and see an audience.
And show my dad my credit.
And
Look,
see-
Dad. Look, Mom.
And see an audience react to that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on the
Oh,
show.
my
And
pleasure.
promise that when Pitch Perfect
Oh.
comes out, you will come back.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big one, big soundtrack. It's going to be really fun.
So I'm super excited. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And now Elan is going to join us, but first we're going to watch a little clip of his video, Step Into the Sunshine.
There's a place that you find in your heart where you keep all your dreams, and the music starts. We forget all the reasons we're here. Make the clouds open up, make them disappear.
Here with Elan Atias. Thank you so much for being here. We were talking beforehand. Elan and I have known each other for a long time. On his first solo album, you wrote like 60 to 100 songs, and
Yeah.
for the second one, which is called We Are, it's out right now. You actually like wrote the right amount. Tell me about your lessons learned.
Yes, I learned my lesson. I was in Jamaica recording on that first album together as one with Sly and Robbie. And they asked me, so Elan, how many tunes? Because they knew I was working with all these different producers. I said, I got about 60. And they're like, 60? And they're like, 60? Are you crazy? You have the hardest time to pick out the songs. And I was like, yeah, I'll be able to do it. And back then, it was like also the label and the A&Rs and all the people involved. So it was very
60?
hard. It's like picking out of your kids who your favorite. You can't do that. They're all your babies. So I said to myself, the next album I do, doing the exact amount. I'm gonna do 10 or I'm gonna do 12 and no more, and that's it. Because that's what they said to me. They're like, our first album when we did Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, we did 8 songs. We handed it to the record label and we said, thank you very much. There it was. So I learned from them on that one. And I learned also how hard it was to choose. So.
Well, it's impossible to choose. So you literally, I think you said you wrote 16 songs for this album.
For this, no, I wrote 12 and 10 went on that.
Wow. So how did you choose?
From the last 2?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. The last one that didn't make it was called Love Alive. It didn't really fit the rest of them. It was like, I heard this song and I got so inspired by this. You guys were talking about the Shins. The lead singer from the Shins and what's his name, did a band called Broken Bells.
Oh, which is amazing.
That
yeah.
song by
One of
Broken
my
Bells, it was called High Road. So I was listening to the High Road a lot and I was like, I want to do something in that type of funky, using like a clav and all those sounds. So me and my friend Nick Rose, and we were in my studio and we were like, let's make a song like that. And so it wasn't exactly like all the rest of the album. So I was like, you know what, that was the easy choice not to include, even though I love the song.
Right.
But yeah.
So how would you describe the vibe of the album? It's very like, it's still reggae, but it's poppy. It's very up. It's very happy.
Positive.
Yeah, it's really positive.
To me, We Are is what I was going through at that moment. And no artist listens to just one style of music. Like fans, we're fans as well. No fan just listens to one style of music. So I was brought up with an array of influences, and what I was going through and what I was listening to at that moment, it was more like singer-songwriters, soul and poppy, I don't know. And obviously I have the reggae background, and reggae is the cornerstone of my inspiration, but it came that way. It was what was natural. I didn't try to force anything. I mean, I'm doing what I love.
Right. It's
never gonna be forced. And if I felt that way, I would just shut it off and go in that other direction where I feel it's comfortable. So that's what it was. It was very singer-songwriter pop with a little bit of hints of reggae and yeah, like a little bit of electronic and a couple of songs, but yeah.
I mean, obviously, yeah, reggae is your cornerstone, and you've evolved so much as an artist. But what was it like at 19, singing with the Wailers? I mean,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying every day. I was waking up. I'd never been in a band. I never had a sound check.
How did they find you?
Through Al Anderson. Al Anderson, I met him at a club here in LA, and a friend of mine turned to me and he goes, you see that guy right there? That is the lead guitarist for Bob Marley. I was like, what? I was looking like, God, I dropped, my jaw dropped, and I went over and met him. And at the time, I was doing this demo album where I was just about to go in the studio, and we needed a guitarist. And he happened to live 2 blocks away from the studio. Got him in, he recorded everything, and they had Junior Marvin, who had taken over for Bob when Bob passed away, went off to do his solo album, and that gave me the opportunity. I mean, they're like, do you want to do this? There was no audition or anything.
And you were like,
At first I was like, they're like, are you ready? Because I'd never, like I said, I was never in a band, never had a sound check, never had a rehearsal, never been up in front of a crowd, ever.
Wow.
And the first show I got up in front of like 6,000 people, and just off the memory of the records as a kid. And I was just more afraid. I wasn't caring about the crowd or any. I was afraid of getting all the lyrics right, because I knew everybody in the crowd would know every single one of Bob Marley's lyrics, you know? So that was the, and I just said, you know what, I'm ready. Because if I'm not ready then, when am I going to be ready? When are you going to get those opportunities? Those opportunities you need to have, you need to jump on, especially in this business, whenever the door is open.
An education and experience?
Unbelievable. I mean, I didn't go to college, and I look at
the road was your college.
Yeah, the road was the world was my university. The road was my courses, and my professors were Family Man Barrett, Al Anderson, Irwire Lindo, Seco, all these guys who've been in the business, Carlos Santana, David Crosby. I mean, the list goes on, and these guys really mentor, like they told me, like speaking to me on the phone for hours, Elan, watch out for these people, don't do this, don't do that, don't sign with these people, make sure you write. So I was very, very fortunate. That's the one word I always say is to describe my career. I was very fortunate to be getting to do what I love, and then also have these guys to...
And getting the right guidance, especially in a business like this.
Oh, yeah.
Where there were so many points where you could have...
And so many people take advantage of people. So I got very lucky. I learned one thing, I didn't want to be in a band. After that tour.
Well, after 10 years with the Wailers, I think you're like,
No, it just seems like there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Right.
And it's easier as an artist just because you make the decisions. And now, you can call me a control freak, but I own my label, I own all my masters, I own all my publishing, I make every decision. It was so invigorating as an artist. And I've told you before that I think this is the time for the artist. This is our renaissance, and where the whole table's been flipped. Tables have turned.
Yeah, you
and
said
we have all this
something
control.
interesting to me. It's a time for artists to work with other artists and for artists to connect directly with fans.
We're in bed with the fans.
And with other artists. It seems like other artists are coming together to work with each other just for the joy of working together.
Yeah.
Without some kind of corporate mandate, and to really have the fans interact and respond to the music immediately.
Yeah, it's true.
As a songwriter, from this album, from the last album to this album, and also as you kind of, find sort of exactly where you are and evolving as an artist, what's that experience been like? Because I wouldn't put you in reggae, even though obviously that's your backbone. So it's more kind of singer-songwriter.
It's whatever I'm feeling. I was saying the other day, I forgot who I was talking to, I just said, they were like, what's the next album gonna be like? And I was like, it could be dubstep. It could be, I'm really into that right now.
Dubstep
I've been working with a lot of great guys.
Yeah, you gotta do some remixes.
I've been working with Major Lazer and those guys, Switch and Diplo. And
amazing.
And I'm hanging out with like 12th Planet John and the whole Smog crew and Flinch, and it's different, and I've been getting into it. So I don't know if it's gonna be straight dancehall or dubstep, or it could be just another singer-songwriter type of album, or it might be straight ahead reggae. That's the beauty about music. No one should be able to tell me where I should be categorized. Everybody loves to like put you, pigeonhole you, and box you up and say, you are this. And that's not how it is. As an artist, you can't be that way. You evolve. Look at Madonna. Look at all these other artists who've just evolved. Every time they come out, it's like somebody else. You know what I mean? And I think that's a beauty. No one wants to listen to the same stuff all the time. You go to a concert and you hear the same song. After the third song, you're like, they're all the same.
You're right.
I swear, and
you're right.
To me, I'd rather hear variety. I'd rather hear a various artist album, or I'd love to, just get that different style. Like U2 has done it too. With a bunch of, they went away from their first trademark thing, and then they came back.
They took a lot of risks and experimentation. And what's interesting too, and you and I have talked about this, is that today's audience is, thanks to the internet, is super educated, super savvy, and they totally have ADD.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to bounce around. And for an artist like you, especially with your voice and how you present yourself and how you sing and your writing style, I mean, you can sing to anything. Mm-hmm. So with that, I'm going to ask you to perform again, of course. And again, thank you so much for being on the show. Yes. And the stage is yours.
Okay, let's go.
Well, while Elan is setting up, thank you again to him for coming. I wanted to let our viewers know out there at the Weekly Comet, we are taking a 2-week hiatus, during which time I think I'm going to sleep a lot. But we will be back on April 5th, same time, same place. And we're really looking forward to going into our 3rd season of the Weekly Comet. And we'll be going on Twitter and Facebook to see all your suggestions. So now I'm going to kick it back to Elan. Over to you.
Thanks. This one's called We Are. It's about all of us. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we are of the same kind. We are all that's left behind. Well, what the world needs now. Oh, we are of the same vines, different leaves in different times. Patience is a virtue. It's nothing like they told you. There's no one there to blame, 'cause you and I are the same. Let's make it for tomorrow. Try and I'll try. I can see so clearly now, piercing through the sounds. Patience is a virtue. It's nothing like they told you, but I'll try and try and try. We are of the same kind. We are all that's left behind. This world's full of sorrow. Oh, we are of the same vines, different leaves in different times. Patience is a virtue. It's nothing like they told you. I found myself today singing songs out in the rain, happy for the moments, for you and I. Help me understand. Won't you lend a helping hand? Fill the world with promise for you and I, and I, and I, and I. Oh, we are of the same kind. We are all that's left behind. Well, what the world needs now. We are of the same vines, different leaves in different times. Patience is a virtue. It's nothing like they told you. We are of the same kind. We are all that's left behind. What the world needs now. We are of the same vines, different leaves in different times. Help me, ooh, help me bring a bright tomorrow.
Thank you so much to Elan and Sam for playing on the show. Thank you to all our guests. We will be back in 2 weeks. Tune in to the Weekly Comet. Bye.